In this video, I'm gonna show you how to use a heat gun and a drill to open up a set of headlights, in this case, for a Mazda RX-8. Welcome back, I'm Chris, and you're watching FlyRyde, where I'm gonna talk about the what, how, and why of custom automotive lighting. Now, this is something I get asked all the time, and it's just about how to heat up the lights. I'm gonna save that to the end of the video. We also are gonna talk a lot about these little LED bulbs. These are from our friends at Lasfit. You're gonna see us hook up a bunch of cars with that. Let's drive down to San Diego to Throtl and get started. So before we start the RX-8, I am swapping out a couple little bulbs for Evan's BMW. If you remember, these were from quite a while back. So this was not there. This is actually a switchback bulb that we put in so that instead of it not matching the angel eyes, now when you hit the turn signal, that one will turn amber and this one will be white to match these.
Those aren't turn signals?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, they don't need to be on?
I'll show you. It's so interesting.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. Dude, that's cool.
It's more better.
Yeah. I just need to get another 9005.
I'll get you some, and I'll get that guy some, and this one some, and that thing some.
That's
I'll get everybody's stuff.
I like that.
Something I've been planning to do for Mickey for a while is change out his bulbs on his license plate. But he just told me he went out to the store and he spent a bunch of money on these Sylvania bulbs. Let's look at how they compare.
Saw your name on my phone, yeah. 3 o'clock in the morning. We've been going and going, back and forth cause we don't know better. And I thought we'd be different. Yeah, we were on to some good. We keep dancing with the devil, but he doesn't have a back, no. Should be pulling away from the fire. Should go, but I don't even try.
Tell me what you think. Look at that side marker right over here.
So this is stock?
So that's LED.
That's the new one. That's way brighter.
That's way brighter.
And this is regular.
And then if you look at the output, this is kind of the little test that I did.
You see the left, yeah.
You can see that, and then this one over here.
The taillights are, that's standard.
Yeah.
You didn't.
I took the cover off to see what size it would be. Everything's twisting, so some bulbs on a lot of imports are like the 7440s. These are all the 1156.
1156, yeah.
So yeah, but we'll get some other good stuff in here. Yeah, that's actually, I took it off. That was 1156.
It is as well.
It was weird.
Okay.
So we'll get one.
That one's like awesome.
Yeah, man. So we'll swap these right now. Yeah, here's the other thing too, is that they were glowing like a yellowish inside, and the new bulbs right here actually put out a red light. Yeah, take a look. So it just makes a big difference once it's in there. I was gonna show taking the front end off this thing. It has seen better days, so I won't bore you with that, but it has to come off, so let's get it.
Speak with clarity, 'cause there's too much noise around us.
So the RX-8, I put the F1 flasher module on here, and check it out. The idea with these extra switches that are right here, the reason that they're there is so that you can wedge something into the brake pedal and do this yourself. So there's nobody around and I'm still out here able to modify those signals. So I've got the little program button so I can enter programming mode, make little changes. And then I've also got the main switch to turn power on and off to test what those changes look like. So what do you think? So we've got the Mickey front end handled, the Mickey back end handled, the RX-8 back end handled, and the RX-8 front is gonna start. And then the Beamer somewhere up there. Bye-bye.
Adios, amigo.
Adios. And nice to meet you again, brother.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right.
Take it easy.
I'm out.
You out of here?
Yeah, I got more bowls for you.
I'll see you soon.
TJ's brother, TJ's mom, TJ's dad. Where's that? All right. Bye, everybody. All right, so those will be last fitted up, and lots of other bulbs going on lots of other cars. So last fit, I hope you guys are ready to show off your bulbs on lots and lots of cars. Wow, okay, so leaving Huntquarters now. I did not expect to do that many cars, but I definitely did love the fact that I got to have my touch on 2 new vehicles down here. and actually 3 because we hooked up the Supra too. So we did 4 cars. Yeah. Thank you, Lasfit. You guys are awesome. Lasfit hooks me up with the bulbs that I come down and do this stuff for guys like TJ and for some of my other buddies on YouTube. So without them, it would be super difficult because I'd be using my parts on their cars instead of using an awesome company like Lasfit hooking me up with a product that then I can use and show you how to do it. So they're awesome, and so are you. All right, we're back, and I was doing a video about carbon fiber GTR headlights, which will be the next one. So I got stuff all over the ground and some RX-8 headlights fresh off the RX-8. They need some love. Let's check them out. Well, here's what we're starting with, and just like Mickey said, I got my work cut out for me because I'm gonna have to take these somewhere to get this lens restored or polished on. That'll be in the next video. Right now, we just wanna open them up. Normally, the reason that I would say not to take a set of headlights like this and use a heat gun to open them up is because as you're going around this whole headlight, you're gonna create hot spots in one place, but in another place, it's not gonna be quite as warm. And so you're gonna have inconsistencies in the butyl that holds this thing together. Either way, that's what we're gonna do right now. So what we need to look for is all the little screws, the little tiny things that you might miss and break if you are not paying attention. So I'm just gonna go and take everything off that I can see. So I have all of the screws taken out of this thing. Now, the next step is important because if you are doing a heat gun, it's really gonna be hard to know if it's a bolt that's holding it in or maybe just some glue that hasn't heated up enough, so be careful. I don't even recommend doing this. As a matter of fact, don't do this, all right? But I'm gonna show you what it looks like if you did do it, which is not a good idea. First thing, this is a soft mat. So that has a bunch of crap on it that I'm gonna shake off before I do this because I wanna put the lens side down at certain points and not worry about little debris getting like grinded into the lens. These lenses are already beat up, so let's not make them worse. All right, so let's just use the stupid heat gun and we're just gonna go around and around and around, and I'll time lapse it so I don't lose you. All right, I don't know if that's enough, but I do know that these little tabs right here, if they're too not hot, you know, if they're too cold still or whatever, you're gonna wanna keep going because if they're not pliable, that means the glue behind them is probably not pliable. I'm just gonna keep going because I don't feel quite good yet. I'm gonna do one last pass on the front just to make sure it hasn't gone completely cold on me. All right, let's give it a shot. That's nice and warm, nice and warm. All right. So that little tab went back down and it's fighting me as I pull it. So gotta keep watching as you work on this stuff. If there's any spots that are giving you trouble, like I can already tell, this feels good, that does not. Think buff thoughts. Oh! Yeah, never actually rip on these things harder than you feel like you should be, which a lot of people just break things before they really get the clue that they're going too hard. Oh, that's such a stubborn. Whew, okay, so make sure you eat your Wheaties before you do this with the heat gun. And once you get to this step, I can just tell, like, this stuff, it's really, really warm. So now I want to make sure that I don't have any last little bolts. And what I try to do a lot of times is I'll try to take a light like this. And I know that the lens will be held on more on this way, so I'm going to try to push the whole lens that way while keeping this section stable with this hand. Cool. So I felt it give a little gap right there. So now we should be good to go. The only thing that I'll say, make sure that you have a little screwdriver to catch all the glue. always remember, just be super, super patient with this stuff. Because, you know, it's only a couple minutes of your life is going to be messing with this. But if you screw up now, as long as you have that car, or until you invest several $100s on new lights, you have to deal with the repercussions of those few minutes. So be patient, bro. Just chill. If you're pissed and you're that kind of dude that's just like, oh, I'm mad, I want to rage, break this thing up, and walk away, man, walk away. Be patient. And then what I'm tempted to do is just pull away on this, right? The problem is that will pull those little glue strands all over the chrome, so go the other way. And then make sure all these little flyaways, just kind of push them right back down, because we want this glue. This is good glue. This is rubber butyl. We're going to add more of this in my scary machine. There you have it. It's open. Now we can get inside. Now here's a cool thing too. So this is cool. This is like the reverse of women. Like, you're looking at this thing and you're like, man, if they would just take that ugliness off the front, what's covering up all that beauty underneath, that would be awesome. Like with girls, sometimes you're just like, yeah, that's pretty gnarly. And then with a coat of paint, she's looking good, right? Hey, maybe so. But some girls need makeup, and these things are the opposite. They need to get rid of this ugliness covering the face so we can see how pretty they are inside. Let's check it out. Ooh, pretty. Pretty. So that is just pristine under there. Looking perfect. And then you look at this ugly and just all that yellow and everything else. That's what we're gonna have to get buffed out after these are built. So this is another interesting thing I'll tell you about before we end this video. If you look, there's a tiny little plate right underneath the projector itself. You can barely see it in that light. But this plate, ooh, right there. If you look at it from outside the car, you probably don't ever really notice it. But let's take a look at what it looks like underneath. It's metal. It's a little aluminum plate. Now why in the world would they put an aluminum plate underneath the projector, and only underneath the projector and nowhere else? And I'll tell you why right now. Take a look at that projector. It's going to protrude through just a little bit so that sunlight can come in from the top and then come out the bottom. And what it's going to do is act like a magnifying glass. So imagine taking a magnifying glass and just aiming it right above the little part of your headlight. If you're doing that for long enough in the right sunlight, in the, I don't know, hot temperatures or wherever, especially if you're in the desert or something like that, it's going to melt your lights. That's why on Toyota Supras, on Aston Martins, and on everyday cars like an RX-8, you're going to find little parts like that. Sometimes they're hidden, and if you modify the parts, they have that problem. Those parts are going to melt. So I guess my message is sometimes you're screwed and there's nothing you can do about it. Thanks, Mazda. Thanks, Nissan. Thanks, Aston Martin. And so that is how you open up RX-8 lights with a drill and with a heat gun. If you want to see how to do it the right way, I'm going to use that big, beautiful oven over there, and I'm going to cook them, and it will be way less intense on me because I can just pop them in the oven and then do something for 5 minutes, as opposed to standing there with the heat gun going around in circles. If you're afraid to do the oven and you think the heat gun looks easier, you are a silly man. So I don't really have advice for silly men. But in any case, that's it for this one, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody who's watching, and I will see you on the next one.